All right, everyone, let's get down to business. So good morning, good afternoon again. Welcome and thank you for joining us for today's webinar on how to manage the 4 C's of your nonprofit and learn to love it. My name is Nicole Jones. I'm the marketing director here at Kintone, a no-code platform for building custom applications and workflows to seamlessly share information, files, and data with your team. Our speaker, Kintone Nonprofit Lead, Tim Edingfield, will share how Kintone can maximize your impact by giving you greater control over your team and data. He'll discuss how nonprofits can use Kintone to track collaboration and communication on projects, consolidate and monitor data to detect trends and problems, plus create custom workflows for outreach campaigns. But before we get there, let's just go over a little bit of housekeeping. So you're likely listening using your computer speaker system, but if you'd prefer to join over the phone, just select telephone and the audio pane and the dial-in information will pop up. If you have questions at any point, you can ask them by typing them into the questions pane of the control panel. We'll collect those questions and answer them at the end during our Q&A session. All right, so before I hand it over to Tim, let's just take a quick poll here. So how much do you know about Kintone? Select one of the following. Is it your first time hearing about it? Maybe you know a little. Perhaps you know how to build an app in Kintone, or maybe you're a Kintone expert. All right, looks like we've got a lot of responses coming in. Okay, so it sounds like the majority here, 50%, know a little bit about it, followed by 25% of people who know how to build an app in Kintone. Very good. Excellent. So with that, I am now going to hand it over to Tim, who will lead today's presentation. So let me just pass over the baton. Here we go. And welcome, Tim. I think you might still be on mute, Mr. Edingfield. Let me.
My bad.
There you are.
Good morning, everyone.
You're live.
My name is Tim Edingfield. I am the nonprofit support lead at Kintone, and I forgot to unmute my screen. So what we'll be covering today is the 4 C's of nonprofit success: communication, collaboration, centralization, customization. Then we're going to also talk a little bit about how low-code, no-code solutions help you achieve these 4 C's of nonprofit success. So let's just jump right into the first C, communication. The definition of communication is the imparting or exchanging of information or news. So our means of communication can come in many different varieties. But one thing that we have found and we know is that without good and clear communication, businesses will fall and their impact will become negatively affected. So we're going to do a quick survey. My partner Nicole is going to put on a survey on the screen, and we're going to be asking you a question about what kind of communication you use.
We got most of people voted. We'll just wait a few more seconds here.
Okay. Let's see, 80% have voted so far. We'll give it, that's good enough. All right,
Yeah,
so I'm seeing email, phone, and memo and papers are the main versions of communication. We also have one which is a no-code app platform. Awesome. So we've got some people using Kintone for communication, probably our Kintone experts. So while we're thinking about communication, there's some pitfalls that that we know of that can happen. One of which is the common he said, she said, talk once, forget after, having no clear objectives, goals, or expectations, or even a time frame for when the communication is to occur or to be acted upon, having low or no accountability, having the communication be lost in transition, or my personal favorite, buried under the email or note stack on your desk. There's so many different communication tools and recording tools that we just don't know what to do with. So what are some solutions to these pitfalls? Some of the solutions can come in the form of a system of accountability, being able to know who's saying what and being able to act upon it in a, say, relevant and quick manner. Probably you've heard about SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, and relevant, and timely goals. This is very simple and easy to use when you are using a single communication outlet. Having a centralized system for holding your communication, a system to easily return to the communication and the conversation you had weeks ago. How many of us remember what we had talked about last week at our board meeting? Probably not very many of us. So having a repository or a place to have that information is very important. And then also having one tool that connects to all of your outlets of communication. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Speak Mentorship. They're a nonprofit that jumped onto Kintone about a month ago, and their mission is to develop the social and cultural capital of girls to become leaders in the workforce. How they use Kintone is actually pretty interesting. They have two different applications, one for tracking their mentees and one for tracking their mentors. And they marry the two applications by connecting them in a case management sort of style. The mentees are assigned a mentor. They're then put into a scheduling database that will set up their times for meetings. And then during those mentoring sessions, they will actually take notes on what needs to occur next time, being able to create sort of a digital case file for that mentee. They go through 3 different mentors, and each of them is different. So being able to go to the past and be able to see what the previous case has said about this particular student or mentee is important for being able to provide a holistic approach to working with this particular individual. Kintone makes this very easy and very seamless for that connection. Now we've talked about communication, let's jump into the second C, collaboration. Definition of collaboration is the action of working with someone else to produce or create something. Internally, we collaborate with our team members. What about externally as a company? How do we work together as individual organizations to create an even stronger impact? So we're going to have another poll, just so I can get an idea of the kind of audience we have here, of what kind of collaboration are you seeking to improve upon? Very nice. It's looking like we're going straight down in a 50-50. So collaboration. Common pitfalls that get in the way is everyone's using something different. There isn't a clear norm set for communication. Acronyms aren't defined in an industry where collaboration is taking place. Probably have gone to a board meeting or gone to a meeting of community thinkers, and they're all speaking different acronyms, different organizations that they work with, and you're scratching your head thinking, I don't want to look stupid, but I have no idea who these people are. Believe me, it's happened to me before. So collaboration is kind of difficult when you don't know who the main players are. Then you also come across silo mindset, the idea of your little island working on your own, and if you share data and resources with others, you might lose out on opportunities, or you might end up losing out on the vital resources that keep your nonprofit alive. So some solutions to collaboration pitfalls. Again, a centralized system that all collaborators can use. Having agreements on the allocation of resources, so that way that fear mindset of there's not enough or there's not enough abundance for us to survive goes away because you have an agreement on what's going to be done. Having SMART goals for the collaborative to follow and achieve. Doesn't make sense for a collaborative to move in a direction that they don't even know where they're going. So having a really clear goal for them to work towards is very important. Having definitely an agreed upon standard for communication. So many collaboratives go through having email as their form of communication, but you might find that there's some ways that this information or this communication can get blocked or hidden or even buried. So again, standards. And then a location where the data can be shared, entered, and viewed by the collaborative. What kind of place can have that data be shared, entered, and viewed? Let's talk about kids in the game. Kids in the Game's aim is inspiring kids to thrive in life through sports by providing the resources that get and keep kids in the game. How do they use Kintone? They have developed a collaborative application that multiple schools across the nation can enter their student exercise data. They track that student's progression through their grades, through their schools and their teachers, and then they also track the awards given to those students. They're then able to provide region-wide reports or even school-wide reports on the student's activity and the class's progression. They partner with Fit America to make our youth and our nation stronger and more healthy through activity. Being able to have that nationwide data, that live data, is very vital to their mission and very, very important to their cause. So being able to collaborate with schools from different states, different regions, and being able to capitalize on that collaborative effort is very important. Kintone makes this possible. They've only been a member for about a month, and their app is live. The third C, centralization. A definition of centralization is the action or process of bringing activities together in one place. We have so many tools out there for collecting, storing, and viewing data, but most of the time this causes more issues than solutions. Imagine a one-stop shop for accessing your documents, data, reports, and communications with your team. So let's jump into the fourth survey. What tool do you use for working with your data? Looks like we've got a majority of you have voted so far. So majority of you have said Excel. That's definitely a favorite of everyone's. Paper documents, that's also nice. Other cloud-based tools, G Suite, being able to share those Google Docs and Google Sheets, as well as some of you have also said some Kintone in there. That's awesome. It's probably our Kintone experts. Oops, excuse me, went a little too far there. So as we're thinking about centralization, these are some pitfalls. Everyone has their own tools. Remembering the logins for them can be a bother. There isn't a single place where team members can go for resources. There's too many places, in fact. File management and storage is different across departments and teams. Data usually has to be entered and pulled by a sluggish system, or a request has to be made in advance. You ever work in an organization where if you wanted a report, you had to put a request in at least 2 weeks in advance? Not fun. And then progression and efficiency is slowed or halted at times of high volume. Wow. We have high volume and we have progression and efficiency getting slowed or halted. That doesn't really work for nonprofits that are serving people. So what does solutions come with centralization? Again, that one-stop shop for files, communication, data, and reports. Again, that single location for communication. Having a quicker response time and a more efficient process for teams. Also getting to make SMART goals easier. And who doesn't want just a single login to get into their data and their tools? If I was looking at the attendees, I think we have somebody from the Community Foundation in Middle Tennessee. Their mission is to provide personalized, charitable solutions to help you make a difference and enrich the community in ways that matter to you. They haven't had Kintone for more than a month, and they've already created a centralized database for tracking the grant submissions, corporate payouts to specific corporate grants. They've created workflows for staying on track with their requests and staying on time. And they've also developed a semi-automated assessment tool for determining the grant eligibility and the amounts of grants that go out to the payees. Met with them last week, and they've already got this all done in 2 weeks. I'm just blown away with how easy it was for them using our product. Customization, fourth C, maybe even the most fickle of C's. The definition of customization is the action of modifying something to suit a particular individual or task. We live in a world where change is the constant. If you're unable to adapt to your solution or to the times, it is a matter of time before your organization becomes in dire stress. So the last survey, I promise, is the final one. It's how often do you have to adapt to the new changes? All right, so I'm seeing pretty spread across. We got once in a year, once every month, more so whenever my boss has an idea. Wow. And then we got a little bit of hardly ever. The hardly evers, you are very fortunate and lucky. I'm very jealous of you. But at the same time, customization is very important. These are the pitfalls that come from the lack of customization, and I'm pretty sure there's many more. The tools become outdated. Time becomes wasted trying to find new tools. The training for everyone in the new user interface can become very difficult and nerve-wracking. Imagine every time you train somebody in a new tool, you have to pay for that training, not only for the tool, but also the time of that person getting taught. Organization leadership changes, and also so does their view of the tools and also the needs of the company. Being unable to stay on top of the changes to the trends, needs, and assessments can also be a bit of a pitfall for you as well. So these are the benefits of customization. You get the most value out of your tools. You're able to get relative data that makes sense to you, the user, and to your company. The collection process is much simpler, and it continues to get simpler as time moves on and as time beckons you to change and adapt to make more efficient processes. The cost of training goes down, and also the morale of the organization rises. Maybe it's because they don't have to learn a new user interface every month, every year, maybe even every quarter. The feeling of forward momentum is achieved and built upon. Being ahead of the need of the organization is a great feeling. And creating your own tools with simplicity is also a great benefit of customization. I want to talk to you about alternative youth activities. This is my day job. Our mission is to develop connection, capability, and confidence in disconnected, at-risk youth through relationship-based, quality learning experiences that result in academic, personal, and community success. We use Kintone as a centralized data solution for tracking student and employee data and progression. We provide real-time graphs to motivate our students to improve and to build upon their improvements. We adapt to the changes of the school's needs and meeting the alternative education accreditation standards. In education, standards change. In the school environment, we have to be able to adapt to the changes that our students come up with, that our staff come up with, that the administration finds. We have to be able to be quick thinking on our feet, and being able to use Kintone, being able to When we think of a data set that we need to start tracking immediately and throwing it in real quick without needing to have to code anything is a great feeling. And I'm looking forward to having an entire staff be able to change, improve, and customize their own applications for their own benefit and for the school's benefit. So, how does low, no-code solutions help NPOs reach the 4 C's of success? Low, no-code focuses on the citizen developers, that's you, and how you will create your organization's solution. You know your nonprofit better than anyone. It will provide easy user interfaces for citizen developers to create their tools. So how does Kintone fit in all of this? Kintone is a low, no-code platform that supports its citizen developers in reaching the 4 C's of nonprofit success. Our mission statement says it all. Our mission is to make teamwork better globally. We do it through our 4 C's: communication. Through private messages and threads, teams can keep track of the communications they have on the platform. Collaboration. Through spaces and guest spaces, teams can collaborate and set granular permission controls. For external collaboration, the guest spaces allows you to connect existing subdomains, existing Kintone subdomains to each other to share data and share resources. Centralization. Kintone has a centralized setup for your applications, communications, reports, and tools. It's all in one place. And customization. Kintone is designed for the user to be able to add, remove, edit, change any of the fields in their applications so they can track the right data for their organization. What would take weeks to request now takes minutes. This is an example, show you an idea of the kinds of nonprofits that we serve. They all come from different backgrounds. You'll see some service organizations that deal with students. You'll see some service organizations that deal with the environment, with animals, with mediation, with cancer. You'll see some educational departments, and you'll also see some other organizations that have different branches. We serve them all. We're here to make global teamwork better. Time for questions?
Fantastic. Yes, thank you, Tim, so much. Excellent presentation. And as Tim mentioned, now is the time for questions. So any questions that you submit, you can do that in the control panel. We will take time to start answering them, but we'll just give maybe a few moments or so to allow you to formulate your question. All right. First question, what can I expect when trying to get my team on board with no code?
You can expect a little bit of resistance. It's a new concept. It's a new way of thinking. Being able to put the tools in their hands to be able to make their own choices and their own decisions and solutions, it's a little daunting at first. But once you actually sit down with them and you start making some applications, start out small, have them experiment and test it out. You'll find that they're going to like it. You'll find that they're going to start thinking about ways that they can make their solutions better. Even look at your solution and say, this is how you can make yours better. Have a little fun with it. I think that's going to make the best difference. In larger organizations, you might find that you're going to have to create a sort of initiative or a sort of, let's say, a campaign for getting buy-in. But again, it's that one-on-one connection. It's that making it their own that's really going to make a big difference. You'll also find that once they jump on board, you will have a lot of applications to kind of go through and try to figure out which ones are ones that you want to work with, which ones you're going to need to say, let's tweak it this one. Because once they get in, they're going to get excited. And that's the best thing.
Yes, yes. Fun is definitely an important part of this, right? We spend so many hours of our day working. And, of course, it should be about the why, that common purpose. But, there are plenty of things that are tedious, repetitive, and the beauty of no-code, low-code platforms like Kintone is that you're able to automate it, and it's fun. It's so cool to see the excitement in people's voices, on people's faces when they build an app, or see how something that was once a really long, drawn-out process with lots of balls dropped is now streamlined. So fun and excitement is definitely, a core foundation, what they can expect getting on board with that. Absolutely. So next question here is, what kind of integrations does Kintone offer? And I can take that one. So we offer lots of different ways to integrate with the Kintone platform. So in a really kind of broad way, we do have open APIs, and of course there's customization with JavaScript that both our internal Kintone engineers can do, but we also have a ton of great partners to work with and who are ready and excited and have tons of experience building custom integrations to connect to the data, services, and solutions that you love and want to really further centralize in Kintone. We also have things like Zapier and Microsoft Flow, these things called Zaps or connectors to Microsoft Flow that allow you to also quickly, without coding, connect to, again, these services and solutions that you already love. So you can work with your data wherever it is within Kintone. And if you have more questions on that, feel free to reach out and I can get you in touch with one of our product specialists. All right, next question here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, go for it.
So we got a question from, I think her name is Christina. Do you know of any Kintone users that are getting rid of their donor database software and using Kintone instead? That's an excellent question, Christina. Right now, I don't know of a specific user, but I do know a few users that are creating their own donor databases. So being able to track incoming transactions, being able to track even grant submissions, because grants is part of the nonprofit world. So grant trackers galore. In terms of getting rid of their donor database software, the question is trying to look at what that donor database software is doing and then replicating that style or that not condition, but that product in your Kintone database. And I can actually work with you more one-on-one and look at what kind of solutions you're currently using and actually help you sort of replicate the solution in your applications. Because again, it's that centralized database, it's that single tool, one-stop shop that's the best option. So I would be very happy to work with you one-on-one afterwards.
And all right, looks like we've got time for one more question. But if you do have more questions, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll have my email, Nicole, Nicole @kintone.com, or Tim, if you want to speak to Tim directly, of course, Tim@kintone.com. So our last question here is, Kintone adapting and changing to keep up with demands of NPO customers?
All right, so Kintone adapting and keeping up with the demands. Kintone is all about customization, all about being able to adapt to the situations. And our team over at Kintone, we are constantly looking for feedback, looking for ways to make our product better and more applicable and receptive to our clients. We are planning on coming out with new updates within the next quarter. We're also trying to think of ways on how to make our user interface more intuitive. So please, 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 if you have ideas, if you have requests, wish lists even, please send them to us. We will take those into consideration as we're building the new updates.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Tim, for sharing your knowledge with us today. And thank you for everyone on the line attending. If you have any more questions, you can send them to Nicole@kintone.com or Tim@kintone.com. So with all this fresh in your mind, it's a great time to take all this excitement about optimizing your social impact digital execution into Kintone with a free and full feature trial to start building apps your team needs to work better together. Or maybe you've already done a trial and you're looking to really just kind of extend a little bit more and see what else you can do with Kintone. Tim is a fantastic asset and resource that NPOs have access to. So please, set up a meeting with him. Again, you can email him directly. And lastly, if you're interested in learning more about the no-code revolution and how your nonprofit can benefit from it, you won't want to miss Kintone Connect. It's our second annual digital transformation user conference on November 2nd in San Francisco. We've got a special $50 ticket discount code. It's a very big discount for our nonprofits and social impact orgs. Just use the discount code NPOLove when you check out. All right, so on behalf of Kintone and our presenters, Tim, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks to the rest of all of you on the line, and we look forward to working with you. Have a great day.